2, 1. Yeah, boy. So I've been writing for a while. Not forever, not my entire life or anything, but I've been writing for long enough that I feel like I've learned a few things that would have been really helpful for me when I was just starting out. You know, having somebody who's gone through it, having somebody with the right tips and tricks and, whatever to really kind of set me on the right path to temper my expectations and help me understand that I'm in the right place for me. It wouldn't be some like, here's how to go viral in this 12 steps and here's a step-by-step guide if you subscribe to my newsletter about this thing, whatever. It would just be a few practical tips that would help me to know that I'm going the right direction. So I thought about it, and here are a few of those tips for you in case you're starting out and you need a little bit of help, need a little bit of advice to get going. When I was just starting out, I had this feeling from the get-go that I was already behind. I hadn't even done anything yet, and I already felt like I had missed the boat. I was reading authors who published when they were in high school or college, and here I was in college in my classes wasting my time when I could have been out there publishing a novel and getting rich and famous and whatever. And it wore on me a lot as a creative person, where I was like, man, like, am I ever going to be able to do it? Because like right now, considered to them, I'm old, I'm decrepit. There's no way that I could actually like have a fulfilling, successful life in this career. If I start now, I should have started 10 years ago. I should be 8 years old publishing. I should, and the reality is there's no window. Like with most things, you've heard the advice, like, everything comes in its own time, or flowers bloom when they're supposed to bloom. And that's the thing. Some people make it big at 20. Some people make it big at 50. But the reality is, like, you are on your own timeline. You're not on somebody else's timeline. And just because you come at something a little bit later than somebody else doesn't mean that you won't find whatever kind of success you're looking for. Case in point, a couple of examples. Number one, authors like Christopher Paolini. You might recognize him, remember his name. He wrote the Aragon books. Whenever I was a kid, Harry Potter was big, Lord of the Rings was big, a number of these other things were coming up, but I remember a lot of kids that I was friends with reading Aragon. Never read it myself. I did see the movie, but Paolini started writing those books when he was a teenager. He was 15, 16-ish, and he published his first one when he was not even 20 yet. And this book and book series go on to sell, thousands, hundreds of thousands of copies. There's a movie made about it, and he is catapulted into this authorship of his life pretty much from the second he's able to start working. On the flip side, you have authors like Toni Morrison, who became in her life the first African-American woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. She, is a Pulitzer Prize winning author. She didn't publish her first novel until she was 40. And the thing is, like, these two people, granted, very, very different types of authors, but like these two people found different levels of success at different points in their life. They did different things when it was their time. And it didn't mean that, maybe Christopher Paolini wishes he had waited a little bit, or Toni Morrison wishes she was published sooner, but they were able to find significant levels of success regardless of when it came. And honestly, I think having to wait is a good thing, because when you've gone through it, when you don't have success given in an instant and you have to build it, there's a level of appreciation that comes with that. You learn how you have to work for it. You learn how to figure it out, and you learn what really matters to you as an artist outside of just the applause and the recognition. It's incredibly important. Just remember that your time will come. If you put in the work, if you do the thing, like maybe you're not going to be, a billionaire of an author, but like you will find success as an author in your time so long as you keep doing it. Another thing I was really obsessed with when I first started out was finding my voice. I was convinced that like to bridge that gap, to be a successful author, I was going to have to figure out like who I was. I needed to know almost immediately like what are the themes that I'm trying to tell? What weird quirks in my writing are people going to know me for? And it was something that like I always kept in the back of my mind because it seemed really important, but the reality was like that was kind of the thing that was holding me back, because voice isn't something you can find. Who you are is not something that you can just magically make appear. You are who you are. And how you write, how you tell a story, how you create art is going to be something that naturally manifests over time based on what you read, what you like, who you are, what you think about the world. Those aren't things that you're going to be able to force and create, because it's going to sound manufactured. It's going to sound fake. It's going to sound like you're really trying to be someone that you're not. So, the advice that I would give to myself back then, hey, read what you like. Love what you love. Be the person that you are, because all of those quirks, all of the things that you're never going to be able to divorce from your writing and your craft, those are going to be there. They're going to show up naturally over time, and you will never be able to get rid of them, no matter how hard you try. So just keep doing it. Work at it. It'll come naturally. I promise. There's this other idea that you have to be in the right place to start. Like you have to be good enough at what you're trying to do to actually have the permission to do the thing you're trying to do, which I think in a way is kind of like an American ideal, right? Like, all of your ducks need to be in a row before you can check off all the boxes and be granted access to this thing. But that's not how it really works. Like you'll never feel ready. You're never going to just magically one day be like, hey, I'm good now. And the reality is too, like you'll never feel that way even when you find success. You're never going to feel like you are good enough, because our entire world, as artists in general, we are stuck in comparison traps, but also just as a society, it's built on comparison, and it's built on showing you regularly all of the things that you lack and all of the things that you can do to be a better version of yourself. And so realistically, like you are never going to feel good enough. And if you wait for that, you're never going to actually be able to get started. So the core thing is just like, do the work, like do the thing, get started, have fun with it. And because the experience is what makes you good. The work is what makes you good. Writing something is what makes you good. So just start it, just do it. And eventually, even if you don't feel like it, you'll be good enough to find whatever kind of success you're looking for. Another thing would be start trying to finish things. Get in the habit of finishing things. Because getting the motivation to start something, that's huge. You say, I'm going to set a New Year's resolution to start writing a book. That's great. And then you write some pages. That's awesome. That's the first step. But the hardest thing whenever it comes to, just life in general, but whenever it comes to writing is like actually finishing something. And the reason that's important is because finishing, for one, takes discipline, it takes like tenacity, it takes courage, but it also teaches you things. Like it teaches you it shows you a complete body of work. It gives you a complete picture. It gives you an idea of all of your like strengths and your weaknesses from start to finish. Whereas like, you know, if you just start something, you start writing a story 20 times, then maybe you have a decent idea of like how you can start a story. Like you're even building the skill set. Hey, you're getting better starting a story every single time. But if you never finish it, you're never, for one, never following through. You're not getting that experience, knowing what it's like to follow through, but also you're not building the skill set necessary to create a full body of work. Start new things. If you have new ideas, do something really cool and just dive in, see what happens. But most importantly, like find something that really makes you passionate and finish it. It doesn't have to be a book. Write a blog and do it for years and years. Write a short story, do something smaller, write a screenplay, write a comic book, but do something where you can see a clear start to finish. That way, when you're starting on your next thing, you have a full something to look at and be able to understand, like, how can I do better next time? And then the last thing would be all writing advice is, including this. I mean, honestly, like all advice, like at least like online advice kind of is, because I feel like most online advice is in pursuit of getting you to buy something, like a course. Here are the secrets to finding success, to getting, you know, your first brand deal, your publishing contract, whatever. All you got to do is sign up for my course, get this thing, send me your email, like, you know, buy this, whatever. And the reality is nothing is going to work for everyone. All of this that I'm saying right now is like stuff that I wish I had heard because it's relevant to me, but you may be watching through this being like, this is garbage. I don't, what even, this isn't advice. This is trash. And I don't like it at all. It's not helpful. That's what advice is. Like advice is just kind of somebody speaking from their experience, trying to kind of like impart a little bit of wisdom. And in some cases, they're doing it through nefarious ways. They're trying to sell you something. They're trying to take advantage of you, whatever. But even at its best, some advice just is wholesome, it's heartfelt, but it isn't super helpful. And that's okay too. The key is good advice can be kind of like a map. Like it can kind of show you where you need to go. And it can kind of spark the fire, the machinery, the whatever in your brain that gets you thinking about what you need to do to get where you want to go. You know, I read Stephen King's On Writing recently, and like Stephen King, profound, incredible author, and so much of his advice was really applicable to me as a writer, but there was a lot too that I immediately was like, yeah, I don't know that that's going to work for me. But the important thing was it got me thinking. It got me able to reframe a lot of the advice and get me thinking, okay, like I see what he's trying to go for here. How can I shift my perspective to get to that same end goal? How can I, you know, shift my brain around so that I am still finding success and still, you know, accomplishing this goal, even if it's not necessarily down the same pathway. So the important thing, it's not to dismiss advice all the way out. Like, I made this video. Hope you're watching this video. I hope you're taking something away from it. But the important thing is to know yourself, know what it is that you resonate with, what works, what doesn't, and let it all just kind of absorb into you so that you can make the decisions that are right for you. I'll close this by saying my mom, she's almost 70. She just started playing violin in the last couple of years. She has a lot of music experience and, you know, has been able to kind of pick up pick it up a little bit more easily than somebody who's never played an instrument before. But she's been playing it, really enjoying it. She's had the offer to like perform as part of an ensemble. You know, she's retired. She's not at the start of her career. She's not looking to build a career as a concert violinist, but she's finding value and joy in being able to just, you know, grow as a violinist, grow as a musician in this area. And that is the thing that I hope you take away from this. Everything comes in time, regardless of, you know, what it is that you're hoping to look for or hoping to get out of writing. Like, that stuff will come to time. And it's not that everything is guaranteed. Like, nothing is. You know, if you're an author and you want to be a best-selling author and you want to be a millionaire, whatever, like that may not happen. But that isn't up to you. You know, there are a lot of factors that go into that. What you can do is become a better author, put in the time, do the stuff that opens the doors to help you get where you want to go. And the way that you can do that is just sitting down, writing a little bit, finishing stuff, being transparent, being honest, and trusting that everything will come together. Because when you're not necessarily searching for it, when you're sitting down, you're just being honest and you're going about it because you love what you're doing, that stuff has the space to actually come into focus. So thanks for watching. Go write. Even if it's bad, especially if it's bad, that's great. Write bad stuff. That's perfect, because that's how it starts. The end.